I think family means probably belonging. Um, Anywhere you can create family or anywhere you can feel like you belong, I think counts as family. You can choose your family, you can be born into your family. But as long as you feel like there's a place, or whether it's geographic or psychological or emotional, that you can call home, I think that's what family is.
Family is everything to us. I've always felt loved. I've always felt supported. I feel like I'm extremely blessed. For me to have my mother and father in particular, they have really been there, not only for me, but for the whole world.
Sees you, understands you, respects you, and loves all of you without judgment, supports you, lifts you up, wants to see you succeed, brings joy to every experience.
A lot of people end up building a family of like friends and just close people in their life and like choose their family.
Family is very important to me. Means a group of people that love you and that you love them and will always have your back. And I don't know, I think family is the most important thing.
They snuggle with me a lot.
The people you can trust.
I would define family as, doesn't really matter if it's by blood or just, friends or whatever, but people who have your back and would do anything for you and vice versa, like a good moral code.
The people that you care for.
I had a family, like technically, but I don't talk to any of them. So are they like really my family? I don't know.
Have either of you had to deal with toxic family members?
Yes.
If you're willing to continue to grow, I think that that's so important. But if you're just stuck in your way, that's where it becomes toxic, because it's like, well, then you're refusing to grow, and that means like in life you're constantly growing, right? So what are you doing then? If you're just stagnant, that's the problem, and maybe that's what you need to address within yourself. And then come back into the family and maybe we'll give you a hug or something.
A lot of what I've been through is pretty much informed by their experiences, I guess. My dad, both of them then graduate past middle school, really. And then my dad, both of them have very traumatic upbringing, so I think that's pretty much all they know. So they pass that down to us. Like, for example, my dad was basically sold as a child to and then the family that bought him abandoned him. They basically passed along their version of love to us. My dad was a very absent person, not because he wanted to, but he was working for us to send money to us, so I didn't get to see him. But the problem was that he was just very not fun to be around when he was around, so it was like might as well him not be there.
I feel like when we were younger, we just fought a lot because we didn't understand how important and special our relationships were. But nothing toxic, fortunately, thankfully.
My dad was always he just had his own problems going on, and anger issues and manipulation and constant in your face toxicity where as a young kid you can't get away from it. And so I don't remember a single day where it wasn't screaming, yelling, and just tension constantly.
But do you feel that society pressures people to stick by their family regardless of what the situation may be?
For sure. And I feel especially, I'm not from any other country. I was born here, so I can't speak for the world view, but just being in America and how family is perceived, even on commercials, of that constant smile and happy, even though something definitely underneath might not be like that. Just feel like we haven't had the right tools to figure out how to have that actual authentic dialogue.
Right now, there's more of an open-mindedness to actually find your own chosen family and to actually recognize your family for what it is if they're being toxic to you.
Yeah, every time I tell people that I don't talk to my parents, I hear this, "Aw, you should really call your dad." And I just want to be like, you have no idea what the situation even is. And so I think a lot of people who grew up with, you know, a proper family and dynamic would say something like that and put pressures on other people to like have this fairy tale family life. But a lot of people don't grow up like that.
There's definitely that pressure, and I feel that too. Even though my whole family is in Norway, there's this pressure that I have to, there are certain people that I have chosen to like distance myself with, and I get asked like maybe twice a week when I'm gonna hit them up, when I'm gonna text them, when, yeah.
I feel unsupported
Yeah.
because of the societal like pressure and everything else, like, oh, this is your family, so you have to, you know, put up with this person, you have to, so it's just, I feel it's completely unsupported and vulnerable, and yeah, it's really shitty feeling. Yeah.
Do you feel that it's okay to cut out family?
I think so. My dad hasn't really done anything in the past few years that would make me want to cut him out. I think he's pretty mellowed out. Like if he was still a toxic person, then I would have done that. But in my culture, it's very hard to just cut people out, even if they're really like toxic to you.
Why? Why would you say that?
I think there is a a emphasis on family, but there's no emphasis on making it work.
Yes, it's acceptable. I think it is acceptable. Yeah, I think it's something that you know, I know a lot of people at like different stages of that, and I think it's an interesting thing. I don't know when that is. I don't know when you do it. I think it's a complicated question and an answer that it's not the same for everybody. But I do think there's a point where absolutely it's acceptable. Yeah.
I think if anyone is bringing like terrible energy into your life, then you should separate yourself from them. They're still going to be family, but that doesn't mean you need to be around them or like do things for them if they don't have your back, you know, because that's my definition of family, like someone that will always have your back, you know. I guess not always, because if they're being toxic, you know, but I think you could make the best decision, you know. If someone's treating you poorly, separate yourself.
If a person is not respecting your boundaries and is showing this over and over again, like you can show empathy and you can try to have conversations, but it goes to a certain point that if they're not willing to open up, if they're not willing to change their ways, and they're continuously impacting and breaking the boundaries that you have set for them, then I believe it's very important for you as a person to distance yourself from them so that you are able to live a fuller life.
Let's say like you got like a toxic like spider bite on your hand, and somebody said like if you don't cut your hand off, it's going to spread to the rest of your body and you're going to die. You have like 5 minutes to make a decision, like you're going to cut your fucking hand off and go. So I think of it like that.
There are people that go through a certain period of time, and you want to help them through that, and maybe you'll see them on the other side. So like being patient is a virtue, and like being patient and loving someone is also a virtue. But that comes with trust and knowing that the person is just going through a period or something like that. So it's not like, oh, this person sucks right now, bye. Like it's like there's more nuances to it. But at the end of the day, yes, like your own, like if this person is like this, just gonna be like that for the rest of your life, like, you know, then you absolutely need to take care of yourself. And
as long as it's something that I believe as long as you're at peace with it, I don't believe you necessarily have to be happy at all times, but finding a way to be at peace in a situation is important.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like I would never, quote unquote, cut someone off my family. I wouldn't cut them off. I would set boundaries with them, even if they violate those boundaries, I would find some kind of way to let them know that I am here to support them, hands down, no matter what happens in their lives.
I definitely have put like boundaries in terms of just for like advocacy with mental health issues at times, or like addictions at times. I also know there's like the discussion about generational behaviors with maybe some people. Some of the vocabulary wasn't what it is nowadays in talking about those subjects. So I've had to like set healthy boundaries with certain people, being like, all right, so here's where I stand on it. Here are the terms that are really important to use. If you cannot actively try, like, you'll be here and I'll be here. Nice to see you, but I gotta go.
Will you stick by your family no matter what?
Yeah.
Do you believe that you should stick by your family?
Yes. Your people and your support system should be a mutual love and respect. So if somebody does not love you, or it's not respecting you, and it's not giving you the same, then they're not family, and you're not obligated to have them a part of your life anymore.
It's not that I don't believe that you should fight for family, but what I realize is that I am obligated to myself first. And once I hit that breaking point, once I realized that I felt like my soul had been stolen from me, I couldn't catch my breath. My stress was heightened. I was constantly crying. I was fighting with my best friend. I was doing all of these things that are so outside of my character. I was angry. I was just crushed. Once I got to that point, I realized I need to step back and I need to figure out, what do I need to do for me right now? Because I have spent years trying to make this relationship work. When you walk away from a toxic family, you begin the journey of finding your true people.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. If your family really isn't your people, that's okay. You can find your people. Yeah.
I strongly agree with that. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, because you're like we're so conditioned sometimes, I feel like, to stay with things that don't make us feel good because we want to make excuses, or maybe we have too much empathy where we put our stuff aside. And I feel like you hear all those stories when somebody breaks through or breaks free, they really do become their most authentic self.
Yeah, that's totally true. When you just walk away from toxic anything, you make room for the right thing.
Yes.
Yep. Yup. You already know. You already know what it is. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can find your true people before you walk away from a toxic family. I don't think those two things are like cause and effect. I think there'd be correlation and causation. I think there'd be correlation without causation. Yeah.
You have to say no to the things or people that don't honor you, don't bring you joy, or bring you peace. And you don't have to explain your no to anyone.
Yeah. Sometimes no response is a response. I'm gonna learn that one, so.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, your life is your life, and you only have a short amount of time here, and you don't owe anybody shit. That's how I feel. Obviously, don't be an asshole. But if you say yes to everybody and everybody's demands, eventually you lose yourself.
Yep, 100%. Love that one. Yeah. And I specifically, like, as a woman, like, again, talking about conditioning, this is still a problem with me. Like, we were talking about that today. Sometimes I catch myself saying sorry for no reason, and like, we don't have to do that. Nobody does, no matter what you identify as. Like, you don't have to do that if that's not helping you out. At the end of the day, in order to help other people out, you have to feel good with yourself and be your most authentic self. Otherwise, it's just going to be an endless cycle of being unhappy.
I think for the most part I agree with that. Yeah, I don't think you have to explain your no to anyone. Knowing yourself and what makes you happy and what makes you function and what you need to be healthy. I think I mean, fuck happiness. Like if you know, I mean, it's the same thing, but like just being healthy, you know, like I think healthy begets happiness. So saying no to the things that make you unhealthy or feel unhealthy is completely valid.
Agreed.
Yeah.
A dysfunctional family is not a family at all. It's a toxic relationship parading as a requirement.
Yeah, I guess. Like if it's just not making you feel good, then that's not really family. Because I mean, my family and I fight, but like in the end, they make me feel so loved. Like I know, and I love them more than anything. So, anyways, if it's not like that, then you should probably leave. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when you're a kid, you don't have much of a choice. You just have to deal with it for 18 years until you can leave. Hopefully, at some point in your life, you learn from the shit you went through as a kid, and you're able to like turn that into a positive. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen to everybody. So that's the tough part. Yeah.
I'm just not myself at all when I'm around my family. I feel like just misunderstood in general by my own family, so it's just very tiring to have to constantly explain things.
I don't know about that one in a way, because like dysfunctional, the term can mean, for me, I feel like it can mean a couple things. And again, it's kind of going back to me, like as an actor, I was really big into Sam Shepard plays, and he's always talking about like the family dynamic, and especially like in America and things like that. And it's really fascinating because for a lot of his plays, you know, in the beginning it's really chaotic and you're like, okay, this is a dysfunctional family, but at the end you realize just like how strong their bond is. And like, yes, they're yelling at each other, but if somebody tries to come in and yell at one of them, they'll turn around and then they'll all yell at that other person to run out, you know. So I can respect that.
I think that when it is people that you have grown up with, and even though they're toxic, you may still love them even though you don't like them. So it's hard to just dismiss that entirely. Yeah. So you may feel like that is home until you find something that feels more like home, maybe.
This is one topic that we've discussed on many occasions, and there have been times where we have to, you know, pause the conversation, come back to it at another time because it does get heated. We definitely have different views on family and what family means to us, and whether or not, you know, you should walk away from a family member if you feel that their energy or their behavior is starting to negatively affect you. I truly believe I found peace in separating myself from toxic family members, and I'm happy with my choice, and he feels differently. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give the mic to him and let him share his opinion on the matter.
Sure. I do feel in terms of blood relatives, I feel very strongly that those types of relationships are very important and very special. As I've gotten older and have looked around and seen other people's families, I get it. I get why people feel the way you feel. I can't even say that I wouldn't feel the same if I was in your situation.
Family is important to me,
right,
but I choose if you are my family, and I choose if you deserve to be in my life. You have to earn it. You have to earn it. I don't just give away my space and my time to anyone, regardless if you are my blood relative or not. If you do not earn my respect, then you don't deserve it. It's honestly that simple. So today...
That's what we doing? Beatboxing?
Yes, you're right. He's right. Okay.
I need to sample that and just keep using it. Thanks, Bob.
Okay. Yeah, you got it. Thanks for watching.